And you got to understand this, that God makes promises, but every promise of God is conditional.
That's right.
It just won't happen because God said it.
That's right.
So God says it, and our agreement to what God says is the responsibility we take upon ourselves to contend for that prophecy.
That's right.
And to engage it.
That's right.
You see, prayer engages what God is saying. You engage the prophecy because anything in the earth realm that comes from heaven, the enemy will put up a fight. In the book of Daniel, the Bible said that when Daniel had fasted for 21 days and prayed to understand the prophecy of Jeremiah, when he activated the prophecy of Jeremiah through fasting and prayer in Daniel the 9th chapter, immediately he stirred up
The
demonic
Prince of
forces
Persia. That's
in the
right.
heavens
That's right.
who were responsible for the physical governance
That's right.
of the kingdom of Persia in those days. We had King Darius, and King Darius, underneath King Darius was the Prince of Persia,
Right.
who was the unseen ruler ruling through the natural ruler.
That's right.
And so when Daniel activated the prophecy through fasting and prayer, there was a resistance in the heavens and a conflict right in the heavens. And the Prince of Persia withstood the angel of the Lord for 21 days. The only reason why the angel came through, as you know, Paula, was the consistency and the persistence of the prayers of Daniel. And that brought angelic reinforcement.
Right.
And when angelic reinforcement and assistance came, then the angel Gabriel broke through and came to Daniel and said, I am here in response to your prayers.
Right.
So the thing that brought the angel through was not the prophecy, but it was the intercession of Daniel according to the prophecy of Jeremiah. He began to war with the prophetic word. And if you look at the scriptures, the Bible says that these prophecy that went over thee, that thou by them mightest war a good warfare.
Right.
And so whenever we see the promises of God or a prophetic word, it gives us a reason to engage it and to pray like we've never prayed before, because God needs agreement on the earth.
Come on.
And the agreement is when we begin to pray, because you see, when Daniel discovered the prophecy of Jeremiah, they had been in captivity for about 66 years by then.
Right.
And the prophecy said, after 70 years, I'll bring you out. Now they came out before the 70 years.
Right.
Because when he activated that prophetic word through fasting and prayer, God said, I have agreement on the earth.
There you go.
I have somebody down there who agrees with my promise. And so I can move now, because the earth has to align with heaven. And when there's agreement from earth to heaven and with heaven, anything is possible. If you look at the prophecy of the children of Israel in Genesis the 15th chapter, God said, your descendants will go into captivity for 400 years.
Right.
And I'll bring them out after 400 years. Now, that of Jeremiah, they came out before the 70 years. That of Moses, the children of Israel, they came out after 430 years. And there were two reasons for that: lack of intercession and lack of a leader to bring them out of it.
So you're saying something so powerful here, because the prayer of agreement, in my opinion, is one of the most underestimated, powerful prayers, because unless you meet upon an agreement, is upon a fixed appointment in place. We have to fix ourselves with the appointment in the place of God, and we bring it into divine alignment, or we never see results.
That's true.
And it is so important, because even Jesus, I mean, think about how he separated himself. Here he is, he's the Son of God. He's God incarnate. And we know that Jesus separates himself for prayer, even to the point I think about in the Garden of Gethsemane, when he was wearied, and he's praying and saying, can you not tarry with me? Can my inner circle not even pray with me? And he goes back to the Father 3 times through these, if it be your will. And he's praying himself through almost to the point where he forfeits his whole destiny. The joy of the cross is set before me, because he knows he's got to die to bring forth the family of God. But he knows he can't make it to the point of every reason he was born. He can't make it through that cross without the prayer of intercession.
That's right.
If Jesus can't get through it without interceding, the prophetic purpose of him being here on the earth, how do we think we're going to get through the prophetic purpose?
I think it's a deception of the enemy that has plagued the church because of success. The enemy, I had a group of young guys that I trained, and they were so strong in intercession, and they will hold prayer vigils for days and every month, like a week in every month, sometimes 30 days of prayer vigils, and people will come from all over the country. And it was so strong, and then they started coming into a lot of financial blessings. And I said to them that this is very dangerous. I said, be careful that you don't switch. You don't turn this thing into something else than what it is. And they had all these guys who began to whisper and said to them how powerful they were, and they were coming into so much money, and then they said to turn it into a church. And I said, this is not a church, this is a movement.
Yes.
And as soon as you turn it into a church, you're going to kill it. Because all the people who were coming from different churches to pray. Because most of the churches were not praying. Because as soon as they become big and mega and systems and money is in place, they feel like we can get everything done with systems and money. You see, and fame, we can get everything done. So if we have done all of this without prayer and without fasting, then why do we need to fast? Why do we need to pray? But that is where the deception is. So Satan said to Jesus, the glory, the kingdoms, the riches of this world, I will give unto you. For it was